With the recent revelation that Marvel Studios is finally allowed to make a titular Hulk movie inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not to mention what happened during the finale of the She-Hulk Attorney at Law series, which we are going to spoil the life out of in this video, fan theories on Bruce Banner's future and past in the MCU have been running rampant online. That being said, let's go over some of these theories and do some speculating of our own. Here are more than a few fan theories that can totally change Hulk's MCU journey forever. Warning, She-Hulk Attorney at Law finale spoilers lie ahead. And if you haven't seen this show yet, what are you waiting for? Seriously, pause this video and go watch it now. Good? Okay, welcome back. As seen during the aforementioned Disney Plus series set inside of the MCU, Bruce Banner's cousin Jennifer Walters becomes the She-Hulk after Banner's blood leaks into Jen's own open wound, following an attack on their vehicle by a SAKAAR spacecraft. In a later episode, we would see that Bruce, in full Hulk form, was casually aboard what is presumably a SAKAAR ship of his own, hurtling through space, lamenting how he would be busy for a while. During the She-Hulk finale, Bruce would return to Earth, accompanied by one of the latest of many young character additions to the MCU, the son of Hulk, Skaar. In the comics, Skaar is also known as the King of the Savage Land, and as mentioned previously, is the son of Hulk and the SAKAAR Shadow Queen, Kara the Old Strong. When the Illuminati banished the uncontrollable Hulk from Earth in an effort to protect humanity from his rage, he was sent to planet SAKAAR, where he became peaceful, falling in love with Kara and becoming emperor of his new home world. SAKAAR is a trash planet with sentient life in the Teo star system that is surrounded by numerous wormholes stemming from around the universe that deposit their waste on the planet. Focusing back in on the MCU, as theorized by Reddit user PixarFan1, the first solo Hulk movie since The Incredible Hulk, all the way back in Phase 1, could simply be about what Bruce Banner was doing between episodes 2 and 9 of She-Hulk. Acting similar to the Black Widow film in the MCU timeline, the story would not be terribly complicated to tell and could provide much wanted context for Skaar and Hulk adventures in space. As previously mentioned, Skaar was born on SAKAAR and is the son of the Hulk, inheriting not only his father's gamma-enhanced physiology, but Skaar also possesses what is known as old power, which allows him to connect with and manipulate the earth and stone of a planet, among other things. Skaar's old power comes from his relation to the shadow people of SAKAAR through his mother's side of his genealogy. Taking after both parents in various ways, Skaar has taught himself and mastered hand-to-hand and sword combat. He is also famously filled with rage and as volatile as his father at his worst. Oddly enough, during the finale of She-Hulk Attorney at Law, Skaar seemed like a regular, totally chill teenager. Well, as normal as any other 7-foot-tall, tattooed, half-head shaven, Hulk alien teenager that is. All joking aside, if the World War Hulk storyline were to be adapted into the next solo Hulk film, as fans anticipate, perhaps they might change one minor plot point. During the events of World War Hulk, Bruce Banner is the primary antagonist. However, as proposed by Reddit user Xenux, what if the antagonist of WWH isn't Bruce, but Skaar, feeling that his father abandoned him for the people of Earth, so he decided to attack all of his father's friends, meaning all of the superheroes? If this were to be the case, it could mean that Skaar is possibly tricking his father and Earth's mightiest heroes already. I mean, the SAKAAR ship did try to take Banner and Walters out, right? Or it could have all just been a misunderstanding. However, knowing how Marvel Studios likes to combine themes and characters for the cinematic universe, we can't rule out this theory. Sticking with the theme of Hulk father and Hulk son dynamics, Bruce Banner has a dad of his own, believe it or not. In the comics, Dr. Brian David Banner was Bruce's abusive father, somebody we never really get a chance to know or even hear about in any iteration of Hulk's lore. While studying and experimenting with gamma radiation himself, Brian Banner would accidentally catch a glimpse of the one below all, the supreme embodiment and personification of destruction and hate, causing the morbid doctor to quit his research entirely. When Bruce was born, Brian became neglectful towards his son and horrendously abusive towards baby Bruce's mother. So awful, in fact, I'm not comfortable describing some of his actions in this particular video. Years later, Bruce would forgive his father and even take him in. However, on the anniversary of his mother's death, Bruce would attempt to visit her grave before being accosted by his father, causing him to Hulk out, and well, let's just say that day became a double anniversary. Brian Banner would visit Bruce spiritually as a ghost and was even resurrected a time or two as the entity known as Devil Hulk. With the MCU continuing to explore dark, supernatural, and underworldly themes such as the Darkhold, Blade, and Mephisto being a character in the upcoming Ironheart series, it is entirely possible that we could see Bruce and Brian face to face on screen inside of the MCU. Factoring in the possibility of Skaar feeling some sort of slight from his own father, and Reddit user Dappercat456 thinks the next Hulk film could be a story of Banner learning how to be a father given his poor relationship with his own father. She-Hulk is under wraps and not only introduced a fourth wall, breaking Jen Walters into the MCU, but as mentioned earlier in our video, we also met Hulk's estranged son, Skaar. The series also caught us up with what Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, has been up to since Phase 1, while also providing context as to what he was doing in China during Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Furthermore, since we've last seen his brain and head becoming enlarged due to the Hulk's blood leaking into an open wound, Samuel Stearns is returning to the MCU as the leader in 2024's Captain America: New World Order. Although Stearns is not a Hulk in brawn, he is a mental giant in brains and is affected by gamma radiated blood. To push this narrative even further, General Thaddeus E. Thunderbolt Ross has been a prominent figure throughout the entirety of the MCU's history thus far. If you know anything about the comics, Thunderbolt Ross is obsessed with the Hulk and eventually turns himself into the Red Hulk in an effort to combat his large grain foe. On top of that, not only is the third iteration of the anti-hero supergroup called the Thunderbolts led by General Ross, but it seems as though that is Marvel Studios' inspiration for the Thunderbolts movie currently being made. Another critical character from Bruce Banner's past that we have not seen since Phase 1, who has also become a Hulk in the comics, is the daughter of Red Hulk, Betty Ross, who at one point becomes Red She-Hulk. Heck, throw A-Bomb and Gamma Corps in there and we'll have a full-blown Hulk Rager on our hands. To reiterate a question posed by Reddit user QuietEffective7234, could the leader be putting together a Gamma Mutate army? As we discussed earlier on in our list, well, I discussed, you all just sat there and listened, the theory was thrown out there that the potential of there being multiple Hulks come Phases 5 and 6 of the MCU exists. But what about an epic team-up of a variety of Hulks, filmed guerrilla style and made for reality television? Hulk and the Agents of the Supreme Military Agency of Superhumans, or SMASH for short, is a government-regulated squad of Hulks led by the incredible Bruce Banner himself, a concept used for a very popular animated series. Hulk and the Agents of S.M.A.S.H. could be something possibly built towards in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the team consisting of Hulk, She-Hulk, and Skaar, all characters seen already in the MCU, as well as Red Hulk, who could potentially be arriving in the upcoming Thunderbolts film. Another member of the team is A-Bomb, the Hulk's best friend. Of course, they fight with super gamma villains mentioned previously in our video, such as the Abomination and the Leader, meaning that there are a plethora of radiated characters already in the MCU on both sides of right and wrong, and could make the Agents of S.M.A.S.H. be an actual thing. As articulated by Reddit user Joshua Hopkins, he feels like Agents of S.M.A.S.H. work a lot better than World War Hulk as the next Hulk movie, considering the current archetype of our main Hulk and how difficult it would be for Marvel to explain his change in behavior to match that in the WWH storyline. A sentiment that I hope is wrong, but I couldn't agree more with. While the World War Hulk and Planet Hulk story arcs from the comics are seemingly the fan favorite choices for where Marvel Studios should go next with the Bruce Banner character, doing so to a T would mean regressing the Hulk back into his more monstrous and mindless self, effectively undoing all of Banner's character arc thus far. However, it is possible that certain events or toxins or technology could trigger this possible regression, as there are many villains and characters obsessed with the Hulk and other gamma-radiated mutates. Should they not want the Hulk to devolve in such a way, however, there are other options for storylines to choose from. Another very popular area of Hulk's personality to explore is his eventual development of dissociative identity disorder, or DID, which created his Joe Fixit Grey Hulk persona. See, when Stan Lee originally created Bruce Banner for his comics, his intentions were for the Hulk's skin to be gray upon transformation. Different stories as to why the Hulk's color was changed from the dull gray to the iconic green have been told for decades, with claims ranging from Stan Lee's editor insisting that he change it to the ink in the printer malfunctioning. Either way, Stan the man himself has made claims stating that the first time we ever saw Banner transform into the Hulk after his initial accident, that it was essentially Joe Fixit who we were witnessing, a persona that has returned multiple times throughout Marvel comic book history, and in my opinion is the inevitable and most logical next step for Dr. Banner's character in the MCU. The Grey Hulk is a highly intelligent and cunning personality. Keenly responsible and rarely losing control of his emotions, Grey Hulk can become more powerful when angry. However, on a base level, he is far less powerful than his green counterpart. Speculating entirely in the other direction for the next entry on our list, instead of Bruce Banner keeping his wits about him so well that he ironically loses his wits and becomes the even-keeled and calculated Grey Hulk, what if the next step in the MCU is the Hulk becoming incensed with near-divine and uncontrollable rage? Well, Reddit user Doombot likes this idea, writing, "Heart of the monster is needed. Hulk's last real fight was with Thanos, and he basically lost the fight so badly they changed him into Nerd Hulk." Indubitably. I know many of you are probably wondering what exactly is this heart of the monster you speak of, right? Well, it's a storyline from the comics, as seen in The Incredible Hulks Volume 1, number 630 through number 635, but battling with gods and monsters in order to protect his family for years, Bruce Banner is faced with his toughest foe, himself. When a legitimate wishing well is discovered inside of the Marvel Universe, the Hulk's deepest and darkest desires begin to come true, ultimately unleashing what is known as Worldbreaker Hulk. This version of the Hulk is considered by many to be his most powerful and destructive form, although it doesn't seem likely that any sort of regression with the Hulk character will be permanent, if it happens at all. Perhaps whatever causes the Hulk's return to his more childlike temperament will also open the doors in his mind to explore other areas of his personality or personalities, depending on where Marvel Studios are trying to go with Banner first. All being said, I for one am in favor of seeing the uncanny and unbridled power of Worldbreaker Hulk in the MCU sooner rather than later. Werewolf by Night, a Marvel Studios special presentation based off of the comic book of the same name, has come and gone this past Halloween and was the very first of its kind. Much different than the delightful but short Marvel one-shots that we have seen over the past 3 phases of the MCU, Marvel's special presentations are individual, 1-hour-long television specials designed to provide context to stories and characters we already know, as well as introduce first-time themes and characters into the MCU. The second of these special presentations is coming this Christmas season in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, an event leading us right into the trilogy film Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. As Reddit user Spiderbite pointed out, waiting 3 or 4 years for a movie seems like a weird move, but an hour-long special filling the gap could work. Personally, I love this notion a lot, as it would be the perfect way to show us exactly what Hulk was up to during the episodes of She-Hulk Attorney at Law that he was missing from. Or, if Marvel Studios wanted to go another route, they could use one of these special presentations to show us the entire backstory between Hulk, Skaar and Skaar, saving an hour of origin story and plot when it comes time for the actual Hulk film itself. Overall, neither of these special presentation ideas seem very likely. However, as all of the CGI needed to put the Hulk and his kin on film take more than a couple years to produce as is, so the chances of Marvel fast-tracking a one-off Hulk-themed episode are slim to none. If you're a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you have been following Phase 4. Like, at all, you could of course be picking up on the multiverse plot points that Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige have been putting down. With the announcement of both Avengers: The Kang Dynasty and Avengers: Secret Wars slated for Phase 6, and with films and series like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Loki having come and gone in Phase 4, fans are privy to the fact that an uncanny war is coming and variants are on their way as well. Whether good, bad, or indifferent, these variants will act as wildcards in the MCU, as it will be hard to know who to trust and whose powers are ending up on which side of history. Could you imagine a circumstance where one of these variants are a bad guy version of Hulk? Well, Reddit user PixarFan1 thinks that's a possibility, suggesting, quote, "They should make the Hulk movie a multiverse movie so Bruce has to fight Maestro, one of the deadliest versions of Dr. Banner." For those unfamiliar, Maestro is the future timeline Bruce Banner of Earth 9200, somewhat of an amalgamation of both the Hulk and Grey Hulk, and is often referred to as the inevitable Hulk and Mr. Fixit. In Maestro's timeline, nearly all of Earth's heroes were exterminated during a nuclear war, with Maestro only surviving due to his radioactive physiology. Banner's intelligence is some of Hulk's more malevolent personality traits. Not only is the Maestro a time-jumping menace at times, but he is also far more powerful than the Bruce Banner of Marvel's Prime Earth 616. With Kang the Conqueror finally arriving during Phase 5 of the MCU, who knows what future-dwelling monstrosities he could have accompanying him. To cap this list off, we end it with a theory of my own. I believe that with the consistent passing of the torches we have been seeing in nearly every Marvel cinematic movie since Avengers Endgame concluded, that the Hulk will be no different. T'Challa passed the mantle of Black Panther onto Shuri. Steve Rogers handed his shield over to Sam Wilson as the new Captain America. Hawkeye has Kate Bishop, Thor has Love, Yelena Belova is the new Black Widow, Riri Williams is basically Iron Man, heck, even the Sorcerer Supreme has been Wong for a while, as opposed to Dr. Stephen Strange. Furthermore, it appears that the trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, is gearing up to do the same, as Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne are accompanied by Lang's daughter Cassie, who appears to be fitted with a new supersuit herself. You get what I'm getting at, and now it appears that the Hulk would have suitable options as replacements himself in either his cousin She-Hulk or his son Skaar. Now, I'm sure this won't be an immediate change or anything, and of course there are other ways to have older faces step back while newer, younger, and cheaper faces step in as the new Avengers eventually. However, death seems to be the most dramatic and hard-hitting way to do so effectively in cinema. Although this is just a wild theory, and is highly unlikely, I maintain that the multiverse and variants being a viable way to shuffle through and bring back old characters that nobody from the main 3616, and there you have it. A solid, giant green fistful of fan theories pertaining to Hulk's future journeys inside of the MCU, and how they may change forever. What is your favorite fan theory? Do you have any Hulk theories of your own? Please share them in the comments section below, and be sure to Hulk smash those like and subscribe buttons, and Hulk smash that bell so you don't miss any crushing comic content.